Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a cold plunge out of a chest freezer, as you can see in the thumbnail, and this is going to be under 400 bucks. Now, if you're looking to make a cold plunge, I'd recommend you watch the whole video, because when I built my cold plunge, I was watching a ton of videos. I was having to search all over the place. I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this video, you've been kind of experiencing that too. You have to look all over the place. What should I get? Where should I get it? I'm going to put all the links for all the stuff in the description. And for this cold plunge, it's going to be under 400 bucks. So this is the bare minimum, everything you need. Everything is the cheapest. Everything is the cheapest, what you need for under 400 bucks, bare minimum for what you need to have like a functioning cold plunge. And I'm going to put all the links in the description. I'm going to tell you where to get all this stuff. So let's get into it. First thing you're going to need is a chest freezer. Now this is the bare minimum that you're going to need here. This is a hot point model, and by bare minimum I mean this is 6.9 cubic feet. I would recommend getting a little bigger, just because it's a good investment. You spend an extra $100 on a bigger freezer, and you fit in it better. Now I'm 6'2", and I can squeeze in this, but I wish I would have got a bigger one. But this one is like $200. It's from Lowe's. I'll put the link in the description. And another thing with the freezer is you don't want it to be metal on the inside. Don't get one that's metal on the inside. It has to be plastic on the inside. If it's metal, it's going to rust away. It's just not as good. Now the next thing you need once you have the freezer is to seal up the insides of it, because there's little cracks on the edges of the inside of the freezer, and if you don't seal it up, then water's going to get in there and wear away at the electronics, and you don't want that. That's not good. So you have to seal it up so it can hold water. And I've looked through many different ways to do this and read many different things on Reddit and things and stuff like that, just getting different people's opinions on how to seal it up. And the best way to do it that I've found is this thing called JB Water Weld. You can get it at Ace, and for a 6.9 cubic feet cold plunge, you're going to want to get about like 4-5 tubes of it. For a little bigger, I would get 6, and then if you don't use them, you can just return them back. I'm not going to go over how to put it all in there and seal it up, but it's pretty easy. You kind of just roll it into a little ball and then put it on the crack. But I'll put an exact video link in the description, so you guys can go click on that and seal it up. Now the next thing that you want to get is a temperature controller. You put a little thing in the water, and when it gets to like 32 degrees, then it'll shut off the power to the freezer so it doesn't freeze entirely. You don't have to get this, but you'd have to just unplug the freezer. I really recommend you get it so you can just plug it in and let it be. And I'd recommend the one from Inkbird. You can get it on Amazon. It's the only place you can get it. It's a very cost-effective way of doing it, and I'll put that in the description. All right, so as you can see here, this is the temperature controller from Inkbird, and you plug this into a power source. I've got it plugged into the power strip, and then you plug your actual freezer into the cooling section, the cooling port rather. And I'll show you how this works real quick. On the left side here, you see this wire on the left that goes into the water. It'll go into the water down there, and it takes the temperature of the water. And once it gets to, I have it set at 5.4 degrees Celsius. Once it gets to 5.4 degrees Celsius, it'll shut off the power to the freezer. I'll show you how to set it here so you don't have to go to another video. You hold set until it starts blinking, and then it says like S5 or something right there, and then you can change the temperature. See, 5.4, 5.3. I'll set it to 5 degrees Celsius, and then you just hold set again, and that's what temperature you want it at. So on the bottom, that's the temperature you have it set to, like what you want it at, and then at the top, that's the temperature that it currently is at. Now the rest of the stuff that you need is just to keep the water inside of it clean, and that's only 3 more things, so we're going to talk about that now. The first thing you need is a filter to get out all the particles and whatever is going to get in there. So what you're going to get for that is an aquarium filter. And I would recommend just getting everything that I put in this video. I don't have any affiliate links or anything, but it's just going to be the easiest way to do it, because with the aquarium filter, you need a certain one because it connects to an ozonator, which we'll talk about later. But this aquarium filter, it'll clean out all the stuff. It's pretty cheap. 4-stage filter, so it'll get everything out, and you can get that on Amazon. And yeah, it'll keep your water clean. Next thing you want to get is a little aquarium fan to keep the water moving. If you don't have this, bacteria is more likely to grow in your cold plunge. You don't want bacteria growing in there. And bacteria grows in like still water that doesn't move. If you ever see like a nasty pond or a nasty puddle or something that a bunch of bacteria is growing in, it's because it's not moving. So you want to get a little fan to keep the water moving in there. That's going to help from bacteria from growing. Now the last thing that you want to get is an ozone generator, and I mentioned this earlier. You want to get this. I'll put the link to this ozone generator in the description, and the aquarium filter, because they fit together, and the ozone generator plugs into the aquarium and pumps ozone into your water. And if there's ozone in your water, then that bacteria is not going to grow in there because it's like toxic to bacteria. Now, as far as the ozone generator goes, you don't have to leave it on all the time. I put it on maybe 1 or 2 times a week and leave it overnight, and that's going to get rid of the bacteria in your cold plunge. Here's the setup I got. Pretty simple setup. Like I said, this is kind of the bare minimum thing you need, but as you can see, the aquarium filter down there, pretty simple, just filters stuff out from the bottom, and then this fan keeps moving. And the tube right here, that's the ozone. So you want to keep the ozone up high, so I conveniently have a little ledge right here and put it around 2. It's also plugged in, and the tube leads to a connection on that, which is pretty on the filter, which makes it very convenient. And that's going to kill all the bacteria, and this is good. It'll have bacteria not move. And even with this little setup, like I said, this is kind of like a bare minimum setup. You're going to see like little particles at the bottom, and that's just going to happen with this setup because it's not perfect, and it's a cheap setup, you know. So you're going to have to, what I do is take all the water out maybe once every 2 weeks. All right, so this has been how to make a cold plunge under $400. Like I said, it's just a bare minimum what you need to get the benefits from cold plunging. Bare minimum what you need to build a cold plunge to get the benefits from cold plunging, rather. It's nothing too fancy. I've seen a lot of videos where they go over all the extra stuff, like you can add like a new inside to all of it, but this is the bare minimum of what you need. So I'm going to put all the links in the description for you guys. Try and make it as easy as possible for you if you want to make one. And that's about it. I'll catch you.